Hello.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Can you hear me well?
I can hear you. I don't see you. I see your picture, but that's fine.
Press the button below to start your video, okay?
I think that goes for you.
Yeah, it's a button. Oh, well, that's okay. I can see you and your cute little haircut.
Thank you. Thank you. My office is the work of the progress. We bought a house last year. We left the office to be the last thing. And, you make a phone call. You don't really care that much.
Yes.
So I'm sorry. It's going to get prettier here.
Wonderful. That must be fun.
Yeah.
I'll admit to you, I'm a little nervous. I'm a reader myself, and I never get really nervous before reading someone else, but now I'm nervous.
Oh, no, that's okay. I was kind of nervous too, and I kind of got over this nervousness already before, and I was supposed to read for you, and I was like, man, I'm nervous, because what is it for me? I think you have a very dominant energy, and you have very strong energy, which is really, really good, for the kind of the work that you do. And your energy is very strong. It's up high there. And there's a part of it that needs to a little bit attune, but I think I can give you some tips how to attune it, to make it even stronger. And I think what makes us nervous a little bit, I think that, you say that you are Assyrian, starseed, which you sense very strongly. And that very much makes sense with, again, the kind of the work you do, I think that you are very drawn to the, as I saw on your side, to the spells, to the witchcraft, but in the light side, right?
Right.
Okay, you definitely have been a witch in the past life. I'm sure you're the first one who told you that. And maybe somewhere there we cross our roads, because I have past life memory of the witch as well. Wonderful. And I also think that you have a Pleiadian connection.
I have heard from the Pleiadians and the Andromedans.
Okay, Pleiadians, Sirians, and Andromedans, they create this very strong bond between them. And so what I'm seeing is that many times they go and they study in the different kind in each other's world. Like, you go to study to the Boston, or you go to study to the California, and then, you combine it. So they are very much combined. The energy is combined together. They are very, very close. But I think that your DNA may be combined of the Syrian and Pleiadian. Syrian is more dominant, as I sense it. And the Syrians, just to give you the bigger idea, are the thinkers. They are the bearer of the knowledge. That's the most important thing. These people are, their energy is very much focused in their head.
And I resonate with Thoth in particular, that Egyptian god, whose name Thoth means thought. And the Egyptians said in their Book of the Dead that they're from Sirius.
I can hear you very, cutting, it cuts the words. But you say, I heard about the Egyptian, and that there is somebody, the Thorn, or how do you say it?
Thoth, Thoth, like thought.
Okay, yeah. I think it's in the mythology, right? Is it right in the Egypt mythology, or is it somebody that you channel?
He was an Egyptian god and involved in alchemy, but his name means thought, and they're very cerebral in that sense.
Yeah. Many Syrians have been incarnated, have been actually in the beginning of the times in the Egypt. And I think that you have been incarnated, with very high energy always, with very, as some kind of the goddess. I think that you had, part of the males and the females' lives. And that you have not been, let's say you have not been the slave who built the pyramid. You've been the brain who gave the orders, how to do things and how to do things. And I also think that you are very much connected to those, how do you call them? When they are this light, I'm sorry, I try to find the words. Light language letters, the fire letters they call them, and they are inscribed in in the Egypt, in the pyramids, and on those clay tablets.
I've actually had visions of Hebrew letters of fire.
Okay, those are the letters of the language of light. Some people see it, some people can, to write it and speak with it. But I think that you know them, that you have been inscribing them or giving the orders how to write them. And once you write them, you do understand them. And so when you get a visions, try to write them down and try to make a little, like a mantra out of them for you, because for you it doesn't really matter that you cannot read it, but what matters is the energy that comes out of that letter for you.
Right.
It's like what I'm explaining, like with my spoken form, what came to me, I understand part of it and part, I get a meaning, but I don't really get a word-to-word translation that I would use, same time again. And same is with the letters. It's like, in the Hebrew, or if you, go to the Chinese, well, these 5 letters are actually like ancient Hebrew.
Wonderful.
And so they, to one letter may have a huge amount of the message in it. That is for you. And that's for you, to teach, because you are a teacher. I don't know if you ever talk about the opening a school, like for the, mystical school of the teaching, the things that you do, that you are most passionate about. But I can definitely see you to having a school. And they kind of, in my mind, my guide's showing it to me kind of in the funny way, like when you have a witch academy. But I know it's not, to the witch academy. but to teaching the people how to use the energy, because I find it fascinating that you do the spells. And I know only one group of the people who I believe that are known as spellcasters, and they are in the New York. And I found them, to same like you, they came to me for the reading, and I was like, wow, they are real. Yeah. And the same with you. I think that there's need to be, to explain to people that spell work is the energy work. And, how that it's not just a hocus pocus, that you get your tools, you put your energy, you set your intent, you get the right time, and you do it properly and the right. That it's a tool, it's an art. It's not just, like, I get the rabbit food and something will happen.
Agreed.
Yeah. And so that's why I think that you are heading to, definitely, to school, to teaching the classes. If I'm right, you're going through some struggles, that it's not exactly go as the way as you wanted.
Yes, I've been kind of a hermit doing what I can, but I have chronic back pain. And I feel like there's a weight on me, that I'm on a timer possibly.
Okay.
Like a timer, meaning I'm being held down. So because I have problems with ascending and leaving my body when I'm not choosing to. And so
you mean that you astral travel, then you are not really ready to go astral travel?
Yes, I have. And I've actually been gone for like 2 weeks at a time. I've been put into the mental ward of the hospital several times, because when I leave, I'm not communicating with the outside world, and I'm not in consensual reality anymore.
Okay. I tell you, I think it may have something to do with you, something to do with the situation. Before I, my son had a soccer today afternoon, so I was sitting, in the park and waiting for him under the trees. I was thinking about you, how do I sense your energy? Because same like you, I was a little nervous about it. And it seems to me, the part of you is up there really high, and the part of you is trying to catch up. So it may make a sense that your physical body is trying to catch up with your energy. And then there is this huge pull I get, that there is something that holds you back with the negative energy. And I work a lot with the cleansing and negative energy. So I was thinking, is there something, I don't know how much you believe in the non-human implants, but I even work with those. And, with whatever kind that is up there. And I came to nothing that is attached to you. At least, some of them, they can hide really, really, really well. And sometimes it takes a long time until you discover it. But what I came to conclusion with you for now is that there is something that you hold inside of you that needs to release, that comes from your childhood, from the early, the teenage you growing up years, and that is connected to the past life, especially to the witch life. I make me a little note that there is inside of you, it's some kind of the anger and wrongdoing that is inside of you, and it's very it goes very much against your values, because you try to be very nice. You have a beautiful heart, you don't believe in the, to be angry at the people and the wrongdoing. And so whenever this wants to really arise, when you want to get mad, you kind of swallow it and let it go down. That it takes a long time to get you really upset and going. Is that right?
That's 100% right.
Okay. So, I hope that, I kind of sent the intent, I did send the intent before we talked, that I will try to open the connection for you in the energy when this is going to be released. And it sort of makes a sense that it's sitting in your spine, because your spine is really a carrier of your nervous system, all the nerve points in the spine. And the front of the body is more attuned to the spiritual energy, because, we work with the chakras usually most from the front of the body, and you are very well in the, the charge of your gifts and abilities and how you're doing the things. And the back is literally just to open, and it's just like, trying to heal it, but there's no way to heal it, because you don't really let it go out. You don't let this anger go out, and you don't let, it's whatever happened, it's, how to describe it better? It's like, you've been so good, and then finally it can like turn all against you, when in the point you says, I'm not gonna be good anymore. I'm gonna be a really bad person. And this is not that you want to be. It's just this energy kind of try to, somehow to rotate inside of you, and the release itself, that you will just let it go. That you, instead of just forgetting it, that what happened, you need to bring it up through your heart. And the heart, I think that's where the Pleiadian connection comes, because the Pleiadians are soul healers. Then you really clean it up, and it's going to be very painful, very messy, very emotional, and then you let it go out. You forgive self, because you have forgiven everybody. I don't sense anything that you would have a grudge. I know there been some boyfriend that was doing, the wrong things. There's something with your father or grandfather, a male in the family, closely connected to you, right?
The male was a Vietnam veteran. He was pretty much insane. He was a boogeyman for me. But also, I'd like to tell you, I suffered from sleep paralysis. I saw a shadow man come to my bed, and I was paralyzed. I couldn't move. I had this throughout my childhood for 19 years. And so like a three-dimensional shadow. And then I would usually astral project out of my body to get away, because I was scared. And psychics through the years have told me, there's a curse on your family, and all this stuff. And you were a witch, which, of course I was. At 5 years old, the kids in my neighborhood said that I was a witch. But the sleep paralysis goes back to possible human implants, and then that goes into like negative Illuminati stuff and scary aliens.
I tell you something interesting, okay? I have the same thing from the childhood I can remember, and it scared the hell out of me when really you are almost awake and you're paralyzed, you cannot move, and you feel somebody coming to you.
Right.
And I did not astral project out of my body. I was just so scared, and I always will myself to ground, to be in the body and to move it. And my mind kind of took over and got me out of it. But it's very scary. I don't have to describe how scary it is.
Yeah.
And the interesting part is that it didn't happen to me for years. I mean years. Or a long time, yeah. It happened to me on Saturday night.
Oh my goodness.
From the Saturday to Sunday, yes. We had a class. Here I was teaching the energy healing. We had a great meditation to connect with the Pleiadian energy, with the eclipse, ahead, and it was just fantastic. And then I went to bed and I slept, and I felt it coming, that I was like, oh my God, I cannot move. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to be scared, because I went through the scare stuff I was afraid of my abilities for many, many, many years. And I was scared to the point I would not go to the bathroom at night. That's how scared I was. And then I said, I'm not going to be scared. And I could hear the tuning of the, like, when you tune the radio, and I could hear, hear people. And I said, okay, those are the guys. I want to make a connection. I'm not going to be scared. I want to make a connection. I'm going to make a connection. And I do communicate differently with my personal guides. But I said, okay, I'm going to do it. And so I listened, and I said, just to tune it a little bit better. And then electricity came over me. I have a huge connection with electricity. I try to all figure it out, but I think it goes with the healing energy.
Yes.
And I could see, I went a little bit out of my body, and I could see my body shaking. And it's like almost in those scary movies when shaking with the electricity.
Right.
And then I could feel that I would be whisked away, like, sucked somewhere. And that happened to me before too, when I was totally sucked out of the reality away, but I came, to back in the few minutes. So that was a little different than with you. And I told myself, I have to ground, I have to touch my husband. He was sleeping behind me. And so in my head, I kind of was moving my hand with my mind, to willing it, because I know when I touch him, I ground myself. That was in my head. And so that happened to me. And I wasn't scared this time. I told them that if they want to communicate with me differently. I have heard the stories about, the ETs coming to you and paralyze you and coming up to you. I cannot really, to tell you honestly true, if this is a bad experience or good experience.
Yeah, I don't know either.
The scary part, obviously can lead you to like, oh my God, it was bad. But maybe it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. So next time this, you can feel it that it's coming, what is happening. Try to ground yourself. Now,
I usually have to go up. I can't come down and ground into my body, because then I'll hear all the voices and get stuck. I think I get stuck on the lower astral where a bunch of dead people are.
Now, do you communicate with dead people?
I try not to. One sleep paralysis I had a couple months ago, there was a lady, and I just said hi to her because out of all the voices I could hear her the most, and I was kind of meditating at the same time, and she told me she was dead and that she lives in a library and stuff like that. But I really don't like dead people. I'd rather speak with an ascended master.
Well, it's a part of the job. So help them. If she's at the library, that's maybe all she needs to do, just to tell somebody she's at the library and that she's there, and that, and your job is to tell her, okay, open this connection. Okay, I'm sending your mother or your children, somebody who's on the other side, and help her just to go on the other side, to be in the peace with them.
Oh, that's nice.
I think that goes with the job. And they used to bother me in the most inconvenient times when I would go shopping, and I used to be very shy to talk to people. I even tell them, that I sense the things about them, because I thought that everybody's gonna be enough, until I really stopped care. And they would come in the store, and then I would get this depression, really kind of feeling sick, telling me, talk to the cashier. And I said, I cannot just tell her, there's a line of the people. I cannot tell her, oh, there's your grandfather behind you and stuff. And, I don't have many psychics who do so. I just couldn't. And then I get this advice from one psychic lady, and she says, you are the boss. You tell them, and they want to talk to you, and you set your rules, and they have to listen to you.
Yeah.
And so you have to put yourself in the charge of your energy. And I think that's going to help you, to tune it from this high and this low, kind of tune it into the middle. And says, okay, in the evening, sit down and says, okay, what do you want from me? Or that's the message. And especially now, when we are ascending, many spirits are stuck in between. They want to ascend as well. They don't really want to stay stuck. So you have to just imagine the golden column of the light for them. Open it so they can travel through it and go on the other side Or, sometimes they come and just tell me these stories that are really sounding incredible, that you can just write do some fantasy novel out of them. And I said, okay, they told me they just want somebody to listen to them. And they don't, some of them, I had this spirit who was like killed 100 years ago, and he just wanted to vengeance. And after he told me the story, he says, I don't need to vengeance anymore. And there was his lover, waiting, who already passed away after many years. On the other side, he was just happy to be reunited. Because after some time, they get stuck in between.
Mm-hmm.
And they cannot go on their own. And there's not really help to them. They need somebody. And you are really this beacon of light that's
Mm-hmm.
walking around. And they said, oh, there she is.
Yes.
Let's go out. So the time, if you feel somebody bugging you, says, okay, this is not a good time, you come in the evening. But then, at this time, and then at this time, try to sit down and listen to them. And even if you can really perceive the message, just open the portal and help them go on the other side. Your energy is very high. So, as I say, as we talk about it, the implant can hurt. If you come to the conclusion that you have an implant, I will let you know. At least to give you the idea about it. Let me ask you, let me see this. Usually with the implants, you see the energy in the black and white. I can see your energy. You have a lot of red color and a lot of blue color in your aura. And you are very much connected with the earth, even to the grounding can be better. And there's a lot of speaking, thinking, to blue, spiritual. You speak, you think. This is where your main energy resides. But what you want to do, you want to bring a little bit to the soul, to the Pleiadians. And Pleiadians, again, they are connected with the spiritual world. They just, it doesn't mean that you have to be the messenger for the spirits, but they want to help. But just to give you the idea, I don't know, when I moved into the new house, there was this man, dripping dead man, walking around. And I said, I don't know who you are. And he would not tell me, it was not clear communication. I said, if you want me to, and it was scary because they popped up out of the nothing. And you go like, whoa, I'm in your house, I want to have a peace. And so I told him, I said, if you want me to talk with your people, bring them to me. A big lady bought my reading. And the spirit exactly fit to her description. He committed suicide, and believe or not, he was from Canada. So he was not even living here, and I'm in the Chicago. Wow. So it was far, somehow, for them, the time and distance doesn't matter. So if they are very persistent, tell them, bring the people toward me, and I will give them the message. And most of the time, people are very, very, very thankful for the message. And as I said, most of the time, they just want to go on the other side. Now, the good part out of it, that whoever spirit you help to, there's this huge energy coming back. And I mean, it's a great payback. Like, they bring you the business. They don't bring you the money, but they bring you the business, then bring you the things that you need in your life. I mean, the good things. So try incorporate that. And again, if you will feel that the traveling, that sleeping, how do you call it? Paralysis, that's how you call it, right? To paralyze it. If it's coming, try to ground yourself. I'm sure that you work with the stones, right?
Sure. And I'm a Reiki master.
Okay. Try to have a grounding stones close to you that you can hold it, something that you put the intent and says, okay, this is the grounding, I'm not going. Let me ask you this. When you go to this sleeping paralysis, do you have any memory from out there?
The entire thing. I'm aware the whole time.
Okay. They are teaching you, right?
It depends. When the sleep paralysis, I have to slip through the lower astral, which is where the fear is. Then getting above that, I do go to school.
Again, there's the thing. Okay. When you say that your back pain is like in the middle of the back, right?
It's actually like in my butt. In my butt.
Oh, behind. Okay. I see the pressure in the middle of my back. There's like this ball sitting there. That was what I feel. And perhaps you guys really wanted to show, this fear, like, we as a witches, we really in that lifetime, we experience a huge fear. Like, they usually killed our family before us. We died in really wishes there, but you most probably did many vows from the past. Now, did you ever cut the vows from your past?
I know that I took a vow to always see, which means to always be psychic. So always see beyond the veil to see where I was going and what happened there, and retain it when I got back. And then, of course, see people and who they are and what they're about. Even, as a child.
I would say just try to talk to your guys and tell them that, okay, you are able to work with the fear. Okay, let's see it this way. Now, the clients that you work with, do many of them have a fears that you're helping them to move from?
Not supernatural fear. Regular life fear.
Could that be that you go and see it as a learning lesson, when you know really how to remove these fears out of them, that what to do and where to work on them so they can move into this higher level? Because it's interesting. I know it's very inconvenient, but it's interesting that you go, through the level of the fears, where you have to really see it and be there and experience it, and then you go up to the school to learn. Because that's unusual, that's not a bad thing. Because if that would be a bad thing, you stay down there and you stay, somebody's gonna make an experiment on you, somebody's gonna, to make you feel miserable and stuff. No, it seems like it's something that they want you to do. What my guy says that they want to make it click. So try to sit down and write down all about the fears, all what it is that you learn up there, what you see, and how you can apply it to people's life. I was watching some of your videos. You have so many that are great. I couldn't watch all of them, but some of them stood up for me. And I really like when you talk about the 12 steps of the healing, of the dealing with the addiction and go to the heal. And again, the people with the addiction have a fears, and the addiction is really just the cover up for the fear.
Right.
And so if I understood it right, you went through the 12 steps process as well. Okay, maybe you can, to tailor your work to offer help and assistance to the people who are dealing with the addictions and help them, to resolve the fears. You resolve the fears that you really have to go into the past life, and you have to bring these fears up and to forgive the people that did the things to you. And most of the time, people, fail to forgive themselves, and they live in their own personal guilt and fears that they created by their own, as I call it, you create your very own monster with the fears, and that leads into depression, anxiety, addiction, and all these things. And, because you are a Reiki master and you can read the people, again, you can mix and tailor this together, and you can, control them. You can do the session on the people where you can really open this energy up in them to help them to release it and to feel it within your thing. The thing with the addiction is that if you take the fear away, it's like a hole. There's this huge hole that you create, and you have to refill it with something positive. And that is where, the energy needs to come in and come in and come in. And it's really that you cannot cover it possibly in the one session. You have to, they have to understand it, that this is the work, and that's going to take a time. And this is what you're seeing it. And if this is it, then all this will stop. Because you create a conscious click in your mind. It says, okay, I understand it, and this is what I have to do. And that's how it is. It's like, with the spirit, they're going to be bugging you, until you says, okay, this is it. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is how, I'm going to talk with you and let you go on the other side. And then everything's going to be just smooth riding. I never thought that they will stop attacking me. I guess I felt I was very attacked by the spirit world. And they just wanted attention. They really didn't want anything bad to me.
Okay.
And just to tell you, the last time when I had that experience, when I had this paralysis, my husband is very sick. And I'm working, to healing him. He has a congestive heart failure.
Wow.
And after, I touch him, I think that all that electric shock through me went into him.
Yeah.
And whenever I work on him, when I do deep healing on him, he gets most of the time of the sick. which is, I believe, the toxins living out of the body and, the cleansing stuff.
Yeah.
And, he understands it, so that's good. And he was sick for the whole Sunday. And I mean, whatever emotional issue he could think of, it came up. And he's a kind of the person, well, he's like you. He's holding it in. He's holding it in. Okay, it's fine. But you need to really let it go. And then he has a sleep when you don't sleep at night, when you cannot sleep, insomnia.
Mm-hmm.
He slept yesterday from the 11 o'clock all night. I mean, his sleep was unbelievable. Wow. So I do see it as like, somebody gave me something to pass on him. This is still the speculation. This is not, I will see what's going to happen.
Right.
But I definitely, could feel this electric energy. And a little bit backward, one more time. When we did a meditation on Saturday with my group here to align with the Pleiadian energy, the eclipse,
mm-hmm.
my guides led me through 3 pyramids. And with each pyramid, we touch one pyramid. And when I touch the first pyramid, I get the electric shock. Mm-hmm. But to me, electric shocks felt really good. When I was 2 years old, I used to go and put the metal sticks in my, my metal meeting sticks in the electric outlet. I got the shock, of course, my body was not ready for it. Mm-hmm. But I was always drawn to it for some reason. So maybe it was a good thing. So I try not to be scared. I told my guys the next time to explain it to me. I said, if something like that really happening, just let me know so I'm not scared. So I don't, to scare myself. And I think you should do the same things, because I do definitely sense that your energy will align, and that going to have a school, to teaching group that you're going to teach the people. And I see very respected.
Oh, wonderful.
So I definitely put all those things to, there's a bunch of people who thinks we are nuts. And that's gonna, that's their problem. It's not our problem. And so for you, it's too important to work that you don't go into this paralysis, right. That you stay in your body. And I would say try to do the healing on yourself when you do the Reiki, mm-hmm. and focus, to channel the energy in, but consciously stay in the body, because I think when you're doing the healing yourself, you get out as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, this is the practice. You need to practice to stay in your body. Imagine there's a beautiful Atlantean crystal in the earth, mm-hmm. or Atlantean, or you can Atlantean. I wanted to tell you the Lemurian because you have a connection with Lemuria as well, but the Atlantean is the one grounding one. Mm-hmm. You send your cord every day. You imagine your cord coming, your silver cord from the first or second chakra, and you send it down into the earth and ground with it. Ground yourself. Ground yourself. Because you are way above than the others, the spiritual. You need to work to bring this energy in your physical body so you can teach people, and you can, to give and share what you have. Mm-hmm. And then practice with the healings. Practice with the healing that you stay in the body, that this is how you're going to be. Imagine that, this crystal, you pull the energy up, you pull it through your body, and you will ground it in the Syrian star system, in the, in your home world. Mm-hmm. That way, open yourself axiotonal lines from the earth up into the universe. I'm going to make something and put it on the YouTube so many people can learn how to do that.
Wonderful. It sounds really good. I mean, I can see everything you're saying.
Good. Thank you. I did channel all this information that they tell me, and I sometimes get, overloaded with everything, but I just, have to ask to show me, to slow down and write down. I think that, we all been really growing fast, but now it's, we have knowledge that is way beyond us. All we have to do is just to slow down, to ground ourselves and bring that with the knowledge into the earth around to help the other and help yourself. So when you do the healing, do the healing and focus that energy really into the earth and consciously hold yourself in the body. It's just a practice.
Wonderful. I do have one last burning question. So this is my last question. My spirit guide, Hermes, said to watch out for the Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy from Sirius B, And he said something about it being the judgment horns, or the horns of judgment sounds. So the Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy from Sirius B. That's my question.
That is so funny that you say the Sirius B, because I made on my paper, I made the note Sirius B, which I think that your energy goes to. You don't have a boyfriend now, right?
I do. I have a boyfriend. My spirit guide tells me my boyfriend is from out of town.
His energy is lower than yours, right?
What?
His energy is very lower than yours. I mean, he's a nice guy, but he's not spiritually progressed as you are.
I better not say anything.
Oh, I'm sorry, Melissa.
No, it's okay.
Okay. He needs to catch up.
Okay.
To keep up with you. Try to guys meditate and share the meditative energy that it's going to be. Because it's like, you are the grown up and he's the baby in the spirit world. So that's how it is.
Okay.
And he's a nice guy.
He's very nice. Yes, you're right.
Yeah. So try to meditate, and again, don't bring him up. Try to ground energy. His energy, I think, needs to be first connected with the earth before he goes up.
Okay.
Because, he progressed higher. So try to do that meditation, both of you, with the Atlantean crystal.
Great.
And since, you are together, you share the energy, ground yourself together, down to the earth. And that way, if you're coming to this paralysis, then you think of him, consciously make the link, and it says, okay, here's the, what you call it, the hook that you put down into the earth, hit the cord, and I'm going to touch him, and I'm going to be with him, and I'm going to, to pull myself down and in, and that will help you to be grounded. Wonderful. If you meet somebody who's, coming from the serious and will be judgmental, all you have to do is just to pull your head away and don't listen to it. You are smart. You have all the knowledge that you need at this time, at this moment. You just need to, to more connect with the earth energy and connect with it and do it together. And once he's very well grounded, and understands all the feeling this energy, then it's time, to bring his energy up higher. But I think if you would work on him right now to bring his energy higher, and this is with all respect, I would say this is his love for you to doing this, then you will have a hard time to ground. So you need to have somebody really grounded. Yes. And, between me and my husband, we are the same. He's very grounded, and I'm, up there. And so when I need it, we kind of, to fulfill each other. And if somebody judgmental comes, just to send them away, you have your knowledge. You don't really need to learn anything new right now, which is kind of nice. You will be learning and progressing, of course. But the grounding. Also, guys, try to go outside, find a tree that you are most drawn to, and make a connection with the tree. Again, that will help you, to roots from the tree are grounded to Mother Earth and help you to ground. And whenever you come to it, when you need the energy, you can consciously think of this tree energy and, to connect together with that energy and help you to be grounded and help you to draw on the energy, to feel the physical body. And then I think, write down everything about those fears, and it will help release your very fears that you're holding inside yourself. I don't know if you found, okay, I'll send you, I have this meditation, the cleansing with the language of life. Excellent. I'm going to send you the MP3 file. And that whenever you feel, my guides made it for the light workers. Whenever you need, the cleansing, the light codes, what you see, to fire letters, I can speak them. They just came to me. And it helped you literally cleanse. I'm using it myself, and I get overloaded. And that's how it is. Moldavite. I don't know if you have a piece of Moldavite.
I think we do.
That's an extraterrestrial stones. Even though you raise up your vibrations, then it will also to cleanse the first chakra that you can be grounded. Now, just one more last thing. When you wear the Moldavite, it raises up your vibration in a very good and healthy way. That no lower energy is attached to you. So if you have a curse, it's gonna go away. If you implant or whatever it is, after a while it's gonna go away. There are the steps how to cleanse it, but I just don't sense it with you. But people these days, they like to scare the people because what they want to charge them, you know, for this or that. So there's a need for the honest people like you and me.
Yes, ma'am.
Any more questions?
No, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. You are just wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you. I wish you the best of luck. And
yes, you will see me again, and maybe even my boyfriend.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Blessings.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.